So, um, again, first off, hey, thanks for coming on. Um,
Thank
it's always nice to have student athletes on. It makes for some really good discussions, and um, honestly, just to hear your side of everything. You only see, you know, the times and that you guys are on, and it doesn't tell like all the backstory behind that time or how you performed on one day or another. And then plus like, hey, your coach, Coach Stack, he talks very highly of all the girls, especially you. Um,
Yes.
and so that's got to be really encouraging as well. Coach Stack is awesome. I've heard not just good things about. I'm obviously talking to him on an interview, but just around the state. Everybody always mentions him, so it's cool to have you on. It's cool to have him on, and just continue to kind of bring light to Ridgeview. But first off, before we get into like anything running, I always start these off with just hobbies. Like, what is it? What do you do? What outside of the sport of running? What are some hobbies?
I'm really interested in doing arts. I do like visual arts. I like drawing digitally, traditionally. And I like writing. I'm really into poetry and fiction.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, from doing this so much, I've heard a lot. Art is different. I don't think I've heard as like kind of, I don't want to say generic as it is because there's nothing generic about art. There's so many different variations of art. Not too many people have said that. Okay, that's cool. Art. Is there anything like specific that you gravitate towards? Like, is it like landscapes or like just like random like things?
It's random. I used to just draw like portraits, but when I got into high school, I started taking a lot of art classes. So now I can do like landscapes and all stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw at Ridgeview. There's like, I don't know. There's one class there, but like I saw some of the work that was done, and I'm like, there's no way high schoolers did this. This is awesome. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's so cool. Like some of the stuff that's coming out of there, because you just don't like. I don't want to say you don't expect it, but you almost don't expect it. And you're like, when you hear about it and you see it, you're like, oh my gosh, like these kids are super talented. It's really cool. How did you get started in running? Tell me that story.
Okay, so basically, I played soccer since I was 4 years old, and I got to high school, and I was planning on playing soccer. And I had talked to the coach, and he was like, "Hey, you got to do a fall sport or play like club soccer in the fall." And I had recently quit club because I just didn't like the club I was playing for, so I thought I would just do a different sport. And I didn't know anything about like volleyball or anything like that, so I was like, "Okay, I gotta find a sport." And one of the cross country girls came over to me, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to run cross country?" I didn't know what that was. So she brought me over to the table and Stack talked to me. And I was like, sign me up. Because I really was just thinking about, oh, I get to play soccer in the spring. So I didn't really care.
Yeah, Stack can be pretty persuasive, I think. He's a really people
Very.
person. He's very people person. Like, I would run through a brick wall for the man. Like, let's sign me up for cross country right now. No, that's cool. That's cool. And you see that too sometimes where where like soccer players kind of gravitate towards cross
Hmm.
country or just running in general. And this transition is always like, it seems so like fluid and just like natural. Was it natural for you to kind of pick it up, or was it a
I mean,
struggle?
it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be when I first started out. But once I got switched to like varsity cross country, it was a little like it was harder. Like my first meet, I think I got second place when I was on JV, and I was like, oh okay, this isn't too bad. But then I got to varsity, it was like a whole nother thing. I was like, whoa, I can't just be fast. I have to have like endurance and stuff like that and be smart.
Yeah, yeah, that is it's definitely an eye opener for sure. Just the level of growth, especially, and you see it nowadays too, where it's um like now, I mean, even varsity times, 3 or 4 years ago compared to now, it's just like, oh my goodness, like it continues to get harder, and the guys and the gals, everybody's getting faster all around.
Yeah.
um yeah, so it's kind of cool. Just in general, Ridgeview, you guys have a lot going on right now. The track is obviously, that's not built yet, right? They're still doing
No,
construction
it's
on
not
it, or
done yet. They're still working on it. Our field's done, but like the actual track.
yeah, because I saw some football highlights, so I was like, okay, yeah, the field look, that's gonna be done, but the track's not done yet. That's exciting too. Like, oh my goodness, because you
Yeah, I'm
do,
really
like,
excited.
Yeah, because would you say you kind of are more on the track side, like you gravitate towards the track more
Yeah,
than
I'm more
cross
on the
country?
track side because after like going into my sophomore year, we had like at the eye opener, I got injured. I had like problems with my hip. So I went to the doctor and he was like, I probably shouldn't be running cross country. He said I'm not built for it. So
Yeah, yeah, no, hey, no. I mean, phew, it like having a brand new track built would be like the mecca of everything, especially it's still in school and it's going to be done, before track season starts up anyway. So yeah, that's really exciting too. Um, with school starting up now, obviously we're what a week and a half into everything now.
yes.
How's that balance of trying to train and now get back into the swing of school?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm not doing as much as I'll be doing during track season, of course, but I've been like lifting a little bit and stuff like that. And really, for me, the problem is I take like honors and AP classes, especially this year. So it's just a lot of work and then coming home late and having to get that done. That's really the main problem. And then getting up early.
Yeah, no, for sure. um I know you talked about cross country and obviously having to kind of put it on the shelf a bit there, um with the issues. So are you officially like done with cross country? You don't want to ever do it again, or what?
It's not that I don't want to do it. Like I was sad when I couldn't run it because it was something I was born with. So I'm really not trying to make it any worse, especially since I'm going to my senior year and I'm trying to go to college and run, past high school.
Yeah, no, it's still cool though, because you obviously you got a taste of it, and you
Hmm.
know for I mean, how many track runners have ever run cross country? I mean, the numbers are pretty slim. So to even
Yeah.
get out there and get a taste of the cross country feel of it, it's definitely um, kudos to you. Did you like it while you were doing it, or was it just like it was too far, too chaotic at the start?
I mean, it is pretty far, but I actually had a really good experience my freshman year running. Not just like the running part, I mean, it was painful, but I like the feeling of like being stronger and doing something that not everyone like wants to do or can do. And then I don't know, the team, I really love my team. They're really great.
Yeah, cross country, because I'm more of a cross country guy, and obviously distance guys. We do track as well, but I always found like cross country teams to be really close knit. I think
Yeah.
there's something that's just a little different than a cross country team than the track team, and track teams can be pretty close too as well, especially if you're going off to some of these bigger meets and whatnot, and kind of having those experiences as well. But yeah, there's always just something about cross country. Track. So obviously, want to talk about track right now.
Mhm.
Track 25. So the past season, 2:21 for the 8 is you're moving. I always say like I always think like once you go under 2:30, you kind of start knocking on the door of some like you're definitely above average on the scale. Like you're gonna compete at some meets here, and I think once you go under that 2:20 mark is when you really start turning some heads. Is like okay there, and you're almost there.
Yeah.
For the whole season as a whole, was there a goal in mind? Like, did you hit all of the goals you wanted, or because I mean, you made a pretty good, it was a pretty good season.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I liked about the season was I was more consistent, but I didn't exactly reach my exact goal. I wanted to get under 220, but there was some certain circumstances that really kind of contribute to me not being able to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I love having student athletes on, because there's so much you don't understand about everything. Because I can just look at the times and be like, how did she not break 220? She did this and that, and it's like, well, no, there could be more to it. Um, do you think you were in the shape to do it, and just there wasn't a race to do it, or because I mean that kind of happens too. You almost dictated by the race itself. Like if it goes out too fast or too slow, like you're kind of at the helm unless you're leading it from the start.
I think so. At the beginning of the season, I did run a few open eights, but later on, my coach decided to switch my event group, so I wasn't really focused on the 800 anymore. And I ran the 4x8, but that doesn't really help when I want to get like a PR. I was really close to splitting under 220 at I think during championship season. It was either state qualifiers or state. But I left a little bit of time on the track. So, yeah.
Yeah, no. And obviously the 400 with 59. When you do you prefer a certain event over most? I mean, obviously, like I know you talk about like doing the 4x8, and obviously the 4 by I mean the 4x8 and the 800 are still two completely different
Yeah,
events,
definitely.
um, in itself. Um, there's just something about an open 8 versus running with a baton.
Mhm.
Um, but even that, like the 400 or anything, is there a certain event that you gravitate towards, or like that you feel more comfortable in?
I don't know. Like that's a good question. The 400, I feel I mean, it's just a lap, so I would say I feel more comfortable running that, but I definitely think I perform better in the 800 most of the time. Um, really in the 4x8, personally, it's a whole bunch of adrenaline when I'm running. That's one of the races where I just run without thinking. Like I'm able to run without thinking. Where in the open 8, sometimes I get a little shaky when I get on the line.
Yeah, the 8 is way too fast for me. I could never do it. So again, kudos to you. It's just too fast. There's no time. There's no time to. It feels like there's no time to think. I mean, it's almost like you just have to like have the instincts of when to go and when to like not,
Mhm.
and like make your move. Because if you go too early or too soon, or like somebody makes a move, like you either gotta cover it, or you're just gonna wait and see, and hopefully they catch up, or kind of run back to you. Um, but okay, yeah, I mean that makes sense of being more comfortable. Like I said, your 221 is really nice. When you go into an 800, do you have a game plan? Because there's a lot of you see it at the professional level. You see it all everywhere. Um, some guys go out fast. Some are like way in the back of the pack and have a nice last 200. Like, do you think you have kind of a signature style of how you like to run?
I think that looking at my races, I think I do a little better when I come out faster instead of trying to conserve too much for the second lap. Because the second lap is really where the race starts, but I also think that if I get out, I have a better chance than waiting until the end to make a move.
Do you think you have a strong kick?
Uh, it's not the strongest. It really depends. Because there has been a few races where the lactic has really gotten me. It's
Yeah.
really, and it's not even the last 200. It's sometimes it's even just the last 50 meters. Like I'll come around the curve strong and then it just hits me.
Trust me, it hits me all the time. um, it's tough, man. It is tough. It's super tough. Um, because yeah, like you said, it's it's just it's doing it the whole time. I think that's the biggest like
Mhm.
struggle of the 8 is like you have like there's just like I said, there's no time. There's no time to even relax and then having a kick at the end. I have never had a kick. And my teammates have always dogged me for not having a kick. I think I only beat out like one person in my whole middle school, high school career. So I'm right there with you.
I definitely agree because during cross country, I will say when I ran cross country, I had a better kick. I guess because it's longer, so you have more time to. The 800 is just way too fast, and then having to have another gear at the end, it's really
Yeah,
hard.
and that's why like you look at like 800 runners, and if they can do the distance of cross country, it's like they're so lethal because you just have that speed. Like for there's just not many girls who can run a 221 800, maybe 240s or 230s, but the numbers just start getting so small, and it's like if you can just withstand the distance, like you can pretty much outkick anybody on the cross country courses, really. Um, so I want to talk about you went to Nike Outdoor Nationals this past
Mhm.
season. Um, first off, there's like you see like all of these kind of like big meets going on and whatnot. Um, but like that's got to be the coolest thing ever. Like
Yeah.
Nike Outdoor Nationals, like there's New Balance, and New Balance is cool, and Running Lane is out there, and I don't know Hoka or how many there are, but like there's something about Nike that just like they put on just like great events, and the medals are really cool too. How was that experience of being able to run over there?
It was really like surreal, especially because it was my first national experience. It was really cool to me to be on the track that professionals run on. I just felt really like special.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, and then plus you're surrounded by just like great talent all around.
Hmm.
It's not like going to, and there's no dogging on a local meet or anything like that. Um, but there's something different, like even when you talk about like All American Track Classic, like that's a big meet, and there's people that come around, but it's like it's another thing for it to be like a national meet and whatnot. Did you feel any pressure running it at all? Like because you were on a team, right? It was what was it,
Yes.
four
I
by eight
ran
or
the
4x4?
4x8 and the 4
Yeah.
by 4.
Okay. And like
I Oh,
yeah,
go
because
ahead.
no, because you almost are like it's not like you're doing an open eight and it's like well if you jack it up like at least it was fun, but like you could like essentially jack it up for other people in a way. Like, do
Hmm.
you feel pressure to do that or to like run so well?
Um, I will say when I was at nationals, I was a little nervous at first, like when we were building, like the days building up to the meet, the race. But once I got on the line and I saw my teammates running, I was actually like really excited. I was like, you worked hard to get here. You've done this all season. So really it was just I have to execute, let's make it fun. I came here for a purpose. Let's fulfill it.
Yeah, I think that's the great part too. If you have a team that's like don't sweat it, like we're here, like whatever happens happens. I think like having a good team around you to kind of like you said, kind of like give off those like, hey, like we're here to have fun. Like it's all
Mhm.
about having fun, you know. It definitely helps. um,
Yeah.
so walk me through that. Was that always on the schedule to do outdoor like Nike outdoors, or was it like I don't want to say spur of the moment, but was it a spur of the moment, where like you guys were kind of like, hey, we kind of have like a 4x8, 4x4 team that could compete well at this kind of meet. Like it's worth going to. It's not like you're gonna get obliterated out of the water.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, like past seasons, it's been a thought, but this season we really were whoa, we've grown a lot. We really like this is our best shot to go this year.
And so, and again, and you mentioned that right there. In years past, have you noticed at all running throughout your many years the kind of the growth, and like I mentioned earlier, like the growth of just even track runners? Like, have you noticed that certain times are getting quicker, or like to be able to place at meets you have to run faster?
Definitely, definitely for my freshman year, it's been a lot harder to get to the meets and have like a good placing when you get there, like not just be in the race, but you're in the back. Definitely my freshman year, it wasn't as hard to get to state, but as I um as I came through high school, I've definitely seen a lot more times just dropping and dropping. I was like, whoa, you know, I definitely have to start locking in a lot more.
Yeah, it's really cool. This is my well, this is going in my second year being in South Carolina, and I always kind of judge things off of Florida because I'm originally from Florida. I ran through Florida, so I kind of just know like the Florida times and whatnot. Um, and I always would compare, like, all right, like what are the Florida girls running compared to the South Carolina girls running? And at first, like especially this track season, I was like, dang, like Florida's still like kicking their butts a bit here. Like South Carolina's like step up, and then it was like mid season. I think it was towards All American, um, where like times just started dropping left and right,
Hmm.
and the whole state just like really lifted up on the map of like you know you can't be losing sight of South Carolina running. Like it's really getting better. Just the growth in general. You talk about Coach Stack a bit, and obviously him persuading you to do cross country, and obviously he's out there on the track as well, along with some other really great coaches. And obviously going into your senior year, when you look back at like those coaches, like what would you say like has meant the most to you, and some of their guidance that they've given you?
Um, I really say that my coaches have been really patient. I would say that's been the key thing to me because going like running track, I've had a few injuries in the past years, but they never like gave up on me. They still um believed in me and told me, trust the process. That's like our motto, to trust the process. And I definitely will say getting out my head has definitely made me run a lot better.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I think, and that that's a first. I think a lot of the times coaches don't really get the obviously they're not out there running, so they don't get the glory, and I don't think any of them are like seeking the glory or anything. But patience, that is huge. I think because I feel like it's really easy for runners to lose patience, especially when they don't
Yeah.
see the times like come so often. Um, and you really never kind of know what the coach is thinking also, because obviously the coach is like, well, I wanted to run fast, I wanted to do this and that. Um, so patience is really key. So for you to say like they've had the patience as well, and it's like they've shown it, is really cool. You talk about college. You want to run at the college level, yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, way different than high school, just because you're on your own. You have you got school, and then you mix it in obviously with track and whatnot. Um, has it always been a goal of yours to want to run at the next level, or is this something that's just kind of like as you've gotten through your high school years, you've kind of seen like it's something you really want to do?
Yeah, after my freshman year, I definitely made the decision that it was something I wanted to stick with because instantly I just like fell in love with running track. It was I like it was something that opened my eyes because I've never thought of just going out there and running. I was so used to playing soccer. But I don't know, I felt more growth doing track and I just felt like it could get me a lot further.
Yeah. No. Question: If I'm assuming like you again, I hate the word assume too, but I'm assuming you'd want to be more of an 800 runner in track. Is that accurate? Like if a college coach was like, "Hey, we want you to change to the 4 full time," like is that something you'd be open to, or are you going into college with the mindset of like, I'm gonna focus on the 8. That's really my event, and not really open to anything else? Or
No, I'm definitely open to other events. Like I would run the 400 if that was asked of me. If that's where they saw fit for me.
do you think that'd be an easy transition? Because I mean, like, you do the 4x4 and the 4x8. That's a weird mix. Like it's possible. It's a weird one because it's like the 400 is like that is sprint. Like there's no time. And
Yeah.
the 8 you have a little time, not a lot, but a little time, like, and
I
just like
mean,
speed.
yeah, for me, I personally feel like I'm more of a speed-based runner. I've never had like as much endurance as the rest of my teammates. I really like depended on what's the word? I don't know how much power I could get out in the beginning of the race.
Have you thought of doing a 2 before? Have you done a
I
2?
have I've done it two twice, but the problem is I don't know how to use blocks because
Blocks?
I've
Yeah.
been running the 800 most of the time. So I think the first time I ran like 26.42 and it was without blocks and it was right after 800. Like right
Yeah,
after.
right after. Yeah, right after. Oh my goodness, Lord. The blocks are so that's another story. Like I've never really tried it. It's just so weird. I don't get how people use them, but
It is
that's
weird.
funny.
And then when I say I'm having a hard time, my sprinter friends are like, it's super easy. It'll make everything easier. But I'm like, I haven't
Does
been
it
doing
really?
that. It's not
Does it
really.
really make it easier? Like, no, no, that's cool. Okay, and then kind of something I started doing like towards the end of these,
Mhm.
is I'm always so curious of like, and I wish I would have started this way earlier, but um, advice. I think there's so many younger runners, and like the sport has evolved. Like running in general has evolved into. It's not just like it's not just like what you were saying like with club soccer. Club
Mhm.
soccer is like year round, and I feel like running has really turned into a year round sport, especially if you're doing cross country. Then it's like there's just
I would
no
agree.
time for a break. But I mean, you even have people getting ready for outdoor and indoor season right now, and it's like
Mhm.
there's really not much of a break. And outdoor season lasted until like June, July,
Yes.
so it's like, and that was last month. Like, so there's not a lot of time. Um, what advice would you give to like the middle schooler that wants to run, who's like just getting into it, whether it be cross country or whether it be sprints, because there's such a long journey ahead, and obviously you've done it. Any advice for them?
I would say two things. One, it's really important. It might seem like working like nonstop and not taking breaks might help you more, but it actually will hurt you. I think definitely taking care of your body and resting, make sure you eat and sleep and all that will definitely help you in the long run. Because if you just keep just trying to train and train and train and train, eventually your body just won't be able to, you won't have time for any growth. You won't be able to, like if you, yeah, you won't be able to get stronger because you're just breaking your body down. And then two, I would say personally, don't compare yourself to runners, like other runners, because everyone's journey is different. You have to everybody goes down a different path. And sometimes you might not be getting the times as fast as other people, but if you keep working and you don't give up and you keep the right mindset, it will come. The growth will come.
No, that's great. I think most of the time too, we always do compare times and growth development compared to other runners, and you're like, well, you know, so and so is doing this, I should be doing that, and yeah, like you said, really, it really is kind of your own path. There's everybody's path can be different, whether it be some runners don't even fully develop. Well, really, nobody's fully developed in high school, but like they
Yeah.
don't really see the success until later on, junior, senior year. And then there's some that you see like eighth grade and they win a state title, and you're like, holy crap. Man, but then,
Yes.
who knows? Like I've talked to a lot of people, and they may have won states in eighth grade, and then they've been kind of stagnant up until this point. And it's like, but going through that and pushing through those kind of adversities and to get back to the top is always something. So yeah, like you said, everybody's path is different, and the journey is different. But um, again, I thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to see what what's in store. Again, track season. Before I let you go, goals. I'm assuming like already we've already said like 220s. That's like the first one. Is there an outdoor kind of like maybe like a not I want to say a far reaching goal, but do you have something in mind of what you really want to like kind of capstone your senior year with?
Like, you mean time wise or just
Well, I mean time, or it could be place wise.
it might be a far-fetched goal, but I definitely want to go from 221 and try and hit 213 this year before I go to college. And
I don't
then
think that's far fetched.
some people might think, but I definitely think it's not impossible. I don't think it's possible. I think I'm gonna try and start off the season getting under 220 and then just building up from there. And then the 400, if I get more time in that, I'm definitely trying to aim for 56.
I was gonna say 55. I mean, why not, right?
55, that's even better.
Even better, even better. Hey, thanks for coming on. We'll definitely be in touch, and hopefully have you back on, especially when we get towards track season.
Mhm. Okay, thank you so much.